As a producer who's producing 300,000 annually, are there days where you don't get a sale?
Yes, there are those days. When new agents come in, they see your success, but they don't see what you went through. I got hung up on a lot, but you gotta have that grit. You gotta roll up your sleeve and be committed to the process. There's gonna be bad days, so as long as you have your mind right, I think you'll be fine.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We have a special guest. Boom. We have Mr. Gilbert Lopez here today, all the way from
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. That's a real place. I thought it was just in TV. It's a real place. Home of the Ducks, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Are you a Ducks fan?
I'm a Duck fan, Blazer fan.
Oh, dude, Blazers. Not a fan, but I do like Dame Time.
Dame
And
Dollar.
I also like Clyde Drexler. I was a fan of the Clyde the Glide. So
Yep.
you guys have the best nicknames, by the way, for your stars. But thanks for being here, Gilbert. Gilbert is here. Gilbert is a rock star on the phone, guys, and that's why we have Gilbert on the podcast. Besides, look at this guy. Are you kidding me? How do you not have a guy who looks like this on the podcast? But yes, Gilbert's a rock star on the phone in telesales in simplified issue life insurance, specifically final expense. So Gilbert's going to drop some dimes like Dame Time, and he's going to give you guys some nuggets today. We're going to talk about that. But just to bring some credibility here, Gilbert, can you share with our audience what you did last year in final expense sales over the phone? And when we say over the phone, we're talking you did it like old timey. You had the spinner dial. You didn't even just to show how good you are. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But we'll talk about process too. But yeah. Can you talk about the numbers that you put up last year?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. It's because I don't really look at my numbers.
Really?
Believe it or not, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Just looking back, I actually went back. I was like, whoa, I had a great year.
So you were just running.
I was just running.
Okay.
Really.
And then you didn't look up until the end of the year.
To be honest.
Until you got your 1099.
Yes. Until somebody asked me, how much did you write last year? I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. And it, mainly because I had two different IMOs I was writing.
Okay.
So I did a little bit over 300,000.
300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's strong. And when we talk about that, it's not like you were doing any cross selling. You didn't do any annuity sales. Mm-hmm. Have you ever written an annuity?
Never have.
Okay. Would you like to?
Oh yes, I'm definitely. Yes, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. So
True. No Medicare, no mortgage protection.
No.
It was all final expense.
All final expense.
And it was all over the phone.
Over the phone.
So if you guys are wondering, do people buy insurance over the phone? They do. If you're wondering, do people buy final expense products over the phone? They do. 300,000, that's life-changing money. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And let me ask you a question in regards to that, okay? And I didn't prep you for this. I'm just curious because I hear a lot of excuses from people about not writing final expense.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed issue.
Yes.
How much of that do you think is guaranteed issue?
Guarantee issue, I would say probably 15-20% maybe.
So about the same as face-to-face.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty close to the numbers you see there.
Mm-hmm.
So good stuff, man. That's good business that you're writing too.
Yeah.
So another on-the-spot question, all right?
Yeah.
Is I hear from agents about persistency.
Mm-hmm.
What about persistency? Like staying on the books?
I would say a good 70%.
Okay, 70%.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And honest answer: are you getting emails from carriers about your persistency you're in trouble.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
You're like, do they even do that?
No.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do that.
Yeah,
So,
I ran to an agent. I had that problem, but
Yeah.
we fixed it. Yeah.
okay, good. Good for you.
Yeah.
So, good business, writing over the phone. Not everybody, people get into it for different reasons. I've heard a lot of agents have moved to telesales. COVID really kind of opened the door,
Oh, yeah.
I think, to that.
Yeah.
So, why don't you share your background? Because I think it helps. Just so you guys know, I want you to hear Gilbert's background. I think it will help you understand why Gilbert's successful at this, and there are some takeaways. So, can you share a little bit about where you come from, how you got into this crazy business?
Yeah, definitely. So in 2012, I was working for a collection agency for mortgages.
Oh
And,
boy, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just finished college and I, needed a job. And
Wait, I knew your voice sounded familiar. I'm kidding. Go ahead. Yeah. So you got out of college. What was your degree in, by the way? I'm just curious.
Criminal justice. And
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a degree in criminal justice.
So just curious, why didn't you go that direction?
For a variety of reasons, I just vision myself coming home to my family.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to bring that burden back home.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? And I saw the salary, and I was like, it doesn't really justify it. I don't think I can do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. A lot of risk on that. Yeah.
So I had change of heart,
Okay.
and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. So you started doing the collections.
Yes.
What was that like? What did you experience during collections?
Honestly, I didn't really know what to expect. They actually put me in the bilingual department.
Okay.
And I'm like, but my Spanish is really bad.
Oh man.
My Spanish is really bad. The only person that can understand my Spanish is my mom.
So they're like, do you speak Spanish? You said sí. Done. Bilingual. Done.
So they put me in the bilingual department. And you had to read all the disclosures. So that was a little bit challenging, but I made it work. But what I ran into, Chris, was every time we call a person, you want to ask them the reason why they're delinquent.
Okay.
Even though you just spoke with them a day ago. And what I noticed was a lot of these people had a spouse that was sick, had a medical condition, cancer,
Yeah.
or, they passed away.
Okay.
So those were two of the answers I used to get. Somebody's sick in the family or somebody just passed.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And to be honest, I actually go home and I used to be really drained, mentally drained.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tough conversation to have every day with somebody.
Yeah.
About delinquent mortgages and heavy issues that are causing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I can't do this for my rest of my life. I got to find something better. And then ACA was around the corner, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? I want to get into this insurance before ACA kicks in. I want to get a solid year underneath my belt because it's about opportunity. I was like, hey, I see a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And it was great for a few years. So 2013, I got licensed. And I started working for a call center. And we were captive. We were only able to sell their products.
Okay.
So it was hourly plus commission. And it was a grind.
Oh, I'm sure. So you went from a call center where you were doing collections. You saw opportunity with ACA.
Yes.
And then you answer an ad or something, and then you got connected to an organization?
I went on Google.
Okay.
And I typed
opportunity.
Insurance, health. I actually really wanted to do health insurance because, like I was saying, with
some of the issues you were running
issues
into.
I was running into, a lot of these people weren't covered.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's funny. I had my interview at the call center, and the person that gave me the interview straight up said, can you afford to work here for 6 months?
That's always a good sign. Hey, bro, you're gonna be broke. And do you speak Spanish? See, bilingual department. Wow. So how long did you do that?
I did that for a good 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a grind, dude.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
And so then you heard about this thing called life insurance, final expense. Is that what was next for you?
No. So I wasn't the top salesperson for the call center, but I was doing good enough. And then we had our commission modified every quarter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, can you work here for a year? Can you afford to work here for a year? That was the question moved from 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was really tired of having my commission cut and missing bonuses by 1%, 0.5%. So I went independent.
Okay.
So I was independent for maybe two more years.
Okay.
And I almost left the industry because I was doing it by myself.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do talk about that a lot. I appreciate you saying that because obviously something changed.
Yeah.
But we do talk about how failure happens in isolation and success happens in community. That is a big core value of ours. And it sounds like you found a community.
I partner with Roman.
Okay.
That's my community right there.
Hey, that works, man. That works. So you and Roman are partners.
Yeah. So what happened was I was independent, selling health insurance over the phone.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled on final expense by accident.
Okay.
I actually had a really good client, and he's been with me for a few years. He calls me. He's like, Gilbert, can you sell me burial insurance? I'm like, yes, I can. I'll call you back in an hour.
Yeah, you weren't even contracted or had a, did you have a life license?
Actually, yes.
Oh, okay.
I was
All right.
contracted. So I called my IMO. I couldn't get a hold of them. I tried to call everybody from the department. Nobody called me back.
Nice.
So I actually decided to call the carrier directly.
Yeah.
And then they pinpointed me videos, how to write applications
Yeah.
and whatnot. So I did a dummy on myself and called back my client and sold it. And a few days later, I get my commission statement. I'm like, whoa.
What is this?
What's this?
Yeah. Yeah. So you got a taste.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so now, and then you and Roman, now you guys are selling together. You have your own organization that you guys are building now, correct?
Right.
And what is the name of your organization?
Well, can I say something before
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Yes. So that sale I made, Chris, that final expense sale, it was a different kind of sale. That guy thanked me over the phone.
Yeah.
He was in tears, and he's like,
Yeah.
my wife doesn't have to, open up a GoFundMe account or ask her family for money.
Right.
So that sale actually changed my life.
Wow.
He was like in tears, and I got off the phone. And I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I gotta do this every day. I gotta do this every day."
I love it. I want to interrupt you, but I hope a lot of people who are in call centers doing those type of sales hear this today, because I have another agent. His name's Landon. He'll be on the podcast at some point. He's doing very well from jump on phone sales. And he got his first sale. He could not believe the process and the response. Like it was eye-opening and life-changing to him. Kind of what you're describing because of what he was dealing with before. And he had a skill set that was kind of being wasted.
Right.
Right. So, or he put himself through the process enough to learn and grow to have this skill set, and it was like ready, like he was ready. So if you're doing call center phone sales, you're selling, cramming truck insurance. I don't know what it is, but you can make a difference in people's lives and feel good about what you do. I'm just just so you know. And you may feel good about what you do in collections. Go for it. Hopefully you're changing people's lives, but it's different, isn't it?
It was different.
Yeah.
So, that made me have a bigger desire to be at service for these people.
Yeah.
So that sale completely changed my life.
Cool.
So, by going back to your other question,
Roman Caval, you and Roman teamed up.
Yep. So we teamed up. So the name of our company is Achieve More Partners.
Okay, and I believe you guys achieved more partners.
Right.
And you wrote a theme song for it, and you're going to perform today.
Oh,
is that
yeah,
right? Yeah. Adam, you can do something with that, can't you?
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, we like a lot of, like we said, what is that? When they mess with the voice, what is that called? Auto-tune. Lots of auto-tune. No, I'm just teasing you.
Okay, achieve more.
Yep, Achieve More Partners.
Very good.
Yep.
And how do they find you guys?
Well, it's funny that you say that. I'm really reserved.
Okay.
I don't really have social media.
Okay.
I was talking to Roger, and Roger's like, "Come on, man, you gotta you gotta step up your game." But I do have LinkedIn.
Okay, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Great. So they can find you on
Yep.
LinkedIn. All
Gilbert
right.
Lopez.
Okay.
Yep.
And I believe Roman is on Instagram. Roman Koval. Is that easy? Roman V. Koval. If you guys are interested in connecting to these guys, you can connect with Gilbert on LinkedIn. Okay.
Yep.
So I do want to give some gold here for our listeners today. If you're a new agent, there are some things they have to learn, and
Yes.
it's unavoidable, right?
Right.
And you had mentioned this when we were talking ahead of time, but you said there's going to be some tough days.
They're gonna be very tough days over the phone.
Yeah.
So when new agents come in, they see your success, but they don't see what you went through.
Right.
I got hung up on a lot doing collections, doing age leads, but you gotta have that grit. You gotta roll up your sleeve and be committed to the process. And what I learned too, it's you have to take care of your body and your mind for you to get ready for that grit.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have tough days.
Yeah.
Where I'll be honest, there's days where you know what I don't feel like picking up the phone.
Are there today, as a producer who's producing 300,000 annually? Are there days where you don't get a sale?
Yes, there are those days.
All right. And even now, are there days where back to back where you don't get a sale?
Oh, very rare.
Okay,
But it does happen.
It can
though.
happen.
It can happen.
And does that affect you? Like, how does that affect you emotionally, mentally? Do you feel it, or are you like, man, that's just chalk it up? It is what it is.
Oh, it's a new day.
Yeah.
It's a new day. I can make up for it next day. And
You
I
know
usually
it's
do.
going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you do start your day, are there days where you don't want to pick up the phone?
Oh, there's days like those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Probably more than days.
No.
Okay.
No. I just go to the gym, get a run.
Okay.
Get my little routine going,
Yeah.
and I'm good to go.
So let's talk about that for a second. Just recommendations for body and mind. What is it you do? Is this daily? Is it weekly? Are there things you're committed to? Do you have a schedule?
Yes. So you gotta have a schedule. You gotta have a routine. So I come from a wrestling background. I wrestled for 12 years.
Okay.
That's where I got my discipline from. But what I do is just go to the gym, just quick cardio. Eye of the tiger. Let's go.
Okay. Great.
That gets me going. And then just hit the phones.
Okay. So you just make sure you get something in every day.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And when you said mind, is there something specific that you do to keep your head right?
It can be like Bible verses. It can be just sales books.
Okay.
The podcast over here.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta keep learning.
Is that a daily thing for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you have any books that you can recommend for agents to check out?
I first started with Grant Cardone,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
Roma introduced me to. Uncle G. So I actually have I listen to a lot of his contents.
Okay.
A lot of his books.
Yeah.
Actually wearing his bracelet today.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But
Yeah.
for me, it's just getting my mind into getting motivated about sales and just helping people doing the right thing, and I guess 10x.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, agents, they hear this stuff, and the agents who are successful always do these things that you're talking about. The agents who aren't successful are always looking for a different answer. It's a fact. I just want you to know that. Like, they're like, yeah, okay, the mindset stuff. Now give me the words. Tell me the words. But it doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. Like, the words do matter. We can give you words. Our LIA is full of them. You can go to the training and you can learn. You can go to the coaching, you can learn. But if your head's not right, what happens?
You crash.
Yeah.
You crash.
Yeah.
And I do admit, like, there's days where I skip a workout, or days when I wasn't working out for a while and I felt sluggish. Something was off, and I wasn't going with my routine. That's what happened.
Okay.
Life happens. You know, there's personal problems, partner problems, family problems. You know, clients issues. You know, there's going to be bad days. So as long as you have your mind right, you know, I think you'll be fine.
And the one thing we do talk about, and Gilbert, you can absolutely steal this, okay? The one thing we do talk with agents about, I hope you guys write this down, but a thought becomes a belief becomes an attitude becomes an action becomes a habit, and that is your life. And I think agents, a lot of times, they want to change the action. And they'll say, today I'm going to pick up my phone, but they haven't worked through their thoughts.
Right.
You know, they haven't set goals. They don't know what they're fighting for. You had, we'll jump to the second piece because I think it matters, is you say desire to be of service. And that word desire, a lot of agents, they pick up the phone without a desire. And that's a mistake, I think. Like, a desire for your future, a desire for your vision, for your dreams. But can you talk about this desire to be of service?
Definitely. So again, going back to my collection years, you know, I actually really felt for these people losing their house. And then my desire was I need to find a way to help these people, which led to getting licensed to sell insurance for under 65. And then that desire just carried through. You know, I lost a few people in my life. A lot of them didn't have any kind of life insurance.
Yeah.
And the family had to get together and collect money. And so that was like really hard in my heart. So that my desire grew. I was like, okay, so a lot of people can't afford to buy the $500,000 term policy or
Yeah.
but most people can afford a $10,000 burial plan.
Yeah.
So my desire actually, it kind of got to the point where people can hear it through my voice.
You speak with conviction when you're talking to them and compassion.
Yeah.
Good.
A lot of agents say, you know, when I'm on the kind of froze right there.
You're fine, man.
But what you don't want to do is have commission breath.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and this is interesting. We did a podcast talking about tonality. And one of the things I talk about are these dials, right? And one is speaking with conviction, all right? And turning that dial versus being directive. And it's kind of cool because when I see you and Roman, you guys kind of have that. Like, Roman, I would say, is a pretty directive guy. Like, he speaks with a tone and he's directive with people. And you have that compassion. And not that I said Roman's in the room. He's like, what are you saying, Chris? No, Roman's a compassionate dude. But the cool thing is, if you're training agents, you can turn that dial a little bit and say, hey, you know, your tone, like they just said somebody passed away and you just steamrolled them, right? You've probably seen agents do that.
I have. And it's funny that you say that because when I was selling ACA, we were looking for that life qualifying event to sell them.
Oh, jeez.
You know?
Yeah.
And I remember there was an agent he was talking to a client and she's like, I'm looking for insurance because I just got divorced. So the agent's like, oh, that's a qualifying event. Oh, okay, great.
Oh, okay, great. Oh man, yeah,
And
yeah,
click.
right.
She called back an hour later. She gets a different agent, and she bought like 5 policies.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And that says it all right there. That desire to be of service or desire to line your pockets. And if you can be of service, you will make more money than you can imagine in this business.
Definitely.
Serving people. Good.
Definitely.
There's one last piece here, and I know this is important to you. And the thing I love about you, Gilbert, is you have the production to back this, and these are very simple things. Take care of yourself. Matter of fact, I had just read that your mindset, and I mean, it's pretty obvious, your mindset affects your physiology. It affects how your body's wired.
Yeah.
It affects your tone. It affects how you engage people. It affects how you see people or think about people, right? So, yeah, you're going to have tough days. And if you don't have that right, you're going to have some issues. And then you have desire to be of service. If you help people, you're going to make a good living. Like very simple things. And this is the last one, but very simple, is integrity. This word is highly overused in this industry.
It is.
I hear it from every organization has integrity. Every single one of them. So, heck, there's some that are called integrity, right? And some of them do. There's a lot that don't.
No.
Right? And can you talk about what you see, why that's such a high value to you?
Definitely. So the reason I say integrity is because you got to do the right thing when nobody's watching. And we're dealing with a vulnerable population for final expense.
Right.
Yeah.
Middle to low income.
Little to
lot
low
of
income.
high need. Yes.
Yep. People with disabilities. And I hear a lot where they have to change their bank account because they got scammed by somebody.
Yes.
You hear that quite a lot in the final expense industry.
Yeah.
So you gotta just take care of these people. And I actually run into a lot of situations where the agent prior probably didn't do the right thing, didn't get them the right product.
Well, and so let's talk about that. When you say do the right thing, get the right product, are you talking about like clean sheeting? Are you talking about, do you run into that? I'm sure you run into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But mostly what I run into, it's an agent was just lazy and just sold them a guarantee issue plan, which comes with 2-year waiting.
Right.
Where they could have got a much better benefit, higher benefit with the no waiting plan.
Yeah.
And they don't know any better, and they just buy the guarantee issue plan.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't know that they may be eligible for something else, or they didn't do. This is another one I run into frequently, like an agent who didn't do the proper underwriting.
Right.
And never. This is a thing I've learned is like never attribute to malice what could be incompetence. So like I'm not saying that there's bad agents because they're bad people, but there are bad agents because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to rush the process. And in your underwriting process, do you review medications? Like what do you recommend for a new agent who's maybe steamrolling and moving too fast?
Yeah. So if you want to invest in some tools, the toolkit.
Insurance toolkit?
Insurance toolkit is amazing, where you can plug in the individual's medications or what kind of diagnosis they had.
It'll even give time frames of that.
It
and
does.
ask, I think it does ask like further questions, like complications of diabetes and things like that. Is that correct? Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Right. And then eventually you won't need it no more because you'll just have a program. But there's times I do pull it up just in case. But
well, you'll know. And I think that's a good point because I think new agents get intimidated. Like they'll say, amlodipine, do you have cancer? Right? And that's a nerd inside joke for life insurance agents. I'm not even going to tell you why it's funny. Right? So the insurance toolkits, I like that. And this is a thing I do talk about, Gilbert, is handholds for agents. Confidence and competence, they go hand in hand, and there's a relationship for it in there. And if you don't feel competent about underwriting, you probably aren't going to be super successful until you are competent. Would you agree with that?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Have you always used insurance toolkits?
No. No.
Okay.
When I first started, I didn't even know what it was. No.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I stumble upon final expense,
Yeah.
and but once I sold my first sale, I went to all the carriers I was contracted with, read underwriting,
Yeah.
called the carrier, asking questions, and pretty much just self-learn it. And then just
Mm.
Roma and I would be bouncing back ideas like, hey, I got this person
Yeah.
qualified for this, or this person got denied for this, and we talked about what carriers are good. For example, Aetna, they're great if they have a high BMI, so they don't ask for a height
Yeah.
weight.
Yeah.
So eventually, just him and two, we talk like
That community aspect of
That
it, fine tuning. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
cool, man.
Yep.
So you said some things, and then I'm going to address some things you didn't say. Okay.
Yeah.
You said like be prepared for the tough days. You got to have a desire to serve people, and you got to have integrity.
integrity.
Right. Those are important.
Yeah.
The things you didn't say, okay, that I recognize with you. All right. First, you are a self-starter, man. Like, kudos to you. Like, I think a lot of people would have ran across that. First client who asked that question, hey, can you help me with burial coverage? No, I did see some commercials with Wilford Brimley. Right? Like, there's some phone numbers you can call. I promise you there are people doing that. I promise you. And then you didn't get the answer you wanted. Like, you call people, nobody's answering the phone. You call the carrier. And you're like, okay. And then you wrote it on yourself. And then you wrote it on him.
Yeah.
And then you got this huge paycheck and you're like, what the crap just happened, right?
Yep, exactly.
Dude, that is worth $1 million. That ability to self-start. And the other factor, man, is you just keep showing up. That is, you have a resilience. I think you could speak into a lot of people who are listening who have resilience, who don't feel like they're winning. And that is phenomenal, man. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. We really enjoyed having you here. We're going to have you back because we want to hear some more stories from you. Cool.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Guys, thank you so much for checking us out today on the Life Insurance Academy podcast. Please hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. She would love to hear us, okay? And we will catch you on the next Life Insurance Academy podcast. Thanks a lot. See you.